Don't just remove a player's ability or something you don't like for them doing. One of the things that pisses me off more than anything else was an experience that I had at a public table. Of course, I was playing a divination wizard, which is obnoxious because of portent. I was also playing that I had the lucky feat, so have fun with that. This is back before 2024 rules, where you could get super lucky by closing your eyes, right? Because then you have disadvantage. You roll 3 dice and pick the highest. So there's that. But so I was kind of an obnoxious player. However, I had a familiar and I used my familiar to scout. I had an owl. And so I would use stealth and I would look through its eyes. I did all the things you're supposed to do with a familiar. And we were coming in through a dungeon, and the dungeon master had described the ceilings as being extraordinarily high, almost 15 feet. I was like, oh, so I'm going to have my owl fly right above the ceiling, stealthily looking down to find any of the bad guys. And as my owl came around a corner, it just died. There was no roll, there was no nothing. It just got killed. And so we came around the corner, and I was frustrated. I'm like, well, what did I see before it died? Nothing. Right? And the dungeon master basically just flat out killed my familiar. And so as we come around the corner, there's two creatures that we end up killing immediately. And I'm like, how did they kill him without him seeing him? He was stealth. Like, you didn't even have me roll a stealth check. You didn't do anything. Well, they were prepared for it. They shot him out of the sky. You didn't roll a hit. There was no rolling. There was no nothing. They pulled an arrow back, killed my automatic hit, automatic kill. And so all of my agency was removed with the things that I was doing, playing my character as the scout, as the divination wizard, to make sure that we weren't walking into a trap. And I did all the right things. And the dungeon master just didn't like it. And that also cost me 10 gold pieces. And I was really irritated because they removed one of the core aspects of my character. If you didn't want us to scout, then just say you can't scout. Make the ceilings 5 foot tall. Make there be wind that causes nothing to fly in here. There's 1,000 things you could have done to be creative. Instead, you just killed my familiar. That is adversarial dungeon mastering. That's what you don't want to do. Yes, if your party can do something and it's going to ruin a specific encounter, there are lots of ways that you can remove it. I don't recommend doing that. Allow your players to shine. Allow me to see those two creatures and then fire and roll. And then all of a sudden, my familiar, if it gets hit and dies. I'll own that. But at least have there be some semblance of normality in the rules, not just because you don't like it there. And that's the one thing you want to remove as a dungeon master. Don't just do something because you like it there. Play within the rules and see how it comes out. Sometimes it'll come out in your favor. Sometimes it